Yes, guys, what is good? What is good? I am here today with the legendary Ciaran Clarke. I call him Mr. 6 and 0, Mr. Tree Arena. So, Bellator fighter, 6 wins, 0 losses, and he's from my hometown, Drogheda, Yellow Butter. We're just gonna have a little conversation with him today, pick his brains a little bit. We got a list of questions here that some people has asked me to ask him, so I will be asking him over the interview. So Ciaran, introduce yourself a little bit. Tell us a little bit about you, where you're from, what you do. Let's go.
So, as you mentioned, Bellator MMA fighter, professional fighter, 6 wins now in a row. Thank God, undefeated. From here in the town, Drogheda, County Louth, obviously. I think people will be slagging me now at the minute. You know, you should give you a fiver for every time he mentions Drogheda. But no, from here in the town, obviously, and just I suppose, like I said, went to the Joeys the whole lot, and just normal blokes, and suppose nothing strange with me growing up around like that. It was just the same old, you know, and I suppose found this sport, and then here I am talking to you. You have a mic in my face, you know.
Funny enough, we went to the same school, St. Joseph CBS, all lads school. Fucking, that was a mad crack on its own. But did you ever think that you would be here right now? Because I actually saw a video of you there the other day, and I saw you going onto the Drogheda United pitch, and you were there. You were signing autographs. There's people pulling you over. They wanted to take pictures of you and everything. So, did you think that you were gonna be at where you are right now?
Obviously, as far as training wise and everything else in the sport, you're constantly training and wanting to get to where you are now. Obviously, being 6-0 undefeated for Bellator and one of the biggest promotions in the world. But as I said, you train to get to there, and that's your dream. Yeah. And I'm still not done yet. I'm only starting, But you train for that, but you never expect to be on the side of a Lewis, to be walking out to your United team to United Park when I was 11 years old, 12 years old, cheering on the team, and next later, 10 plus years later, you're walking the team out. People are handing you a Sharpie pen to sign a jersey, and you're like, how do we, you don't even know how to sign it, You're just like, and these kind of things are mad, and even to think that someone would even think that of me, the way that they want me to sign something, want a photo with me, and as I said, you want to get to where you are in the sport, but you never expect those side things, or even the likes of yourself. Like, think back, obviously, into the Joeys, the two of us just going through the motions in school, and next to that, here we are together and doing good things, and it's mad. And now I'm going to start coaching. Actually, my little sister's school, she's in 6th year now, but I'm actually she's the youngest of the family, but I'm actually getting into the schools with myself and Paul Bourne, head coach in SPG Drogheda, good friend of mine, two of us training together all the years. And now we're going to coach in schools, so it's crazy the way life goes,
Fucking hell, that's pretty sick. And let's just say we go back to when we were in school, and you said you're coaching kids now and stuff like that. What would you tell your younger self, knowing everything you know right now? What would you say to your younger self?
What would I say? I'd probably say to be your own man, because I feel when you're a teenager, everybody goes through it, where lacking in confidence, self-esteem, all them words you can throw out there, but most of the time for me anyway, it was wanting attention, and I didn't want to be the class clown rat, even though I was bad in school, but yeah.
If you went to the Joeys, man, you were bad.
we were in the golden era. But no, I mean, you're constantly trying to find who you are, And for me, I'd say just be your own man, Don't be trying to impress other people, trying to, thinking about what others think you and stuff like that, and be your own man, because at the end of the day, as you know, lads in school or whatever, and some of them are still friends to this day, good friends, but most of them, it's only because you're in the classroom with them every day that you're forced to be there, that you're mates with them or whatever. But I'd say be your own man, and be a little bit more switched on to people and situations, So again, look, I was immature in that sense, and I was again finding myself and wanted to be accepted by people, and it led me into trouble, and probably was going down the wrong road. But then obviously I found this sport then, and I was very lucky then to have my head switched on, and I started seeing my girlfriend Lauren, and we're her 12 years. The two of them went work together hand in hand. I wasn't going out on the weekends when you get to that age to because you're not single, and then you're not going out anyway because you're training for fights and you've been disciplined, so them things kept me in the straight and narrow, and the sport, and obviously with my girlfriend, and probably I wouldn't be with my girlfriend only for the sport, and vice versa. I wouldn't be doing the sport if it wasn't for Lauren, so things like that,
And 2 questions. First of all, what does your, and I don't know if I've asked you this before, what does your girlfriend think about you doing the sports, you fighting? Because I know my missus, even her watching somebody else, she's like, no, I can't watch it, no, oh my God. So how does your, missus react to that? You getting punched in the face, maybe you get a blooded, busted nose, busted eye. Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, well, to be honest, I did get more marked up from the training, I got a broken nose before the fight.
Tell us about that. I heard that you kept that a little bit quiet.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so I suppose I'll answer the question and then we'll go into that. I get more marked up in training and more banged up, I suppose. And she'd be always giving it about me to things of that. You need to slow down, you need to look after yourself, things like that. She's always kind of checking up on me in the sense, you should be going to this, you could be going to that, you should relax this time. So she'd be always getting on to me like that. When it comes to the night of the fight, it's not like that. She doesn't want to see me getting hit and whatever, but at the end of the day, I'm doing it 12 years now, and we're here 12 years. It's part of the game, It's tenfold the person I am doing the sport. If I wasn't doing the sport, I'd be a completely different person, So she knows how much it has changed me, and literally everything down to me confidence, everything, I wouldn't be the person I am today. I wouldn't be able to speak here to you, or be on the telly, or all these mad things, or go in and fight in front of 10,000 people in the Soldier 3 Arena and thank God get the wins every time, So these things is all down to the sport, And as far as the broken nose, it was 3 weeks before the fight, sparring.
Fuck's sake.
Had the full head guard on, all the full work safety on, and just it was meant to be a head kick snuck through, and he caught me with the knee, and broke the nose. I knew it was, but I didn't want to find out. I didn't want to
So in your mind, my nose is broke, and I'm still gonna go into this fight anyway. That's commitment, yeah.
Yeah, no, probably commitment or mad in the head, one or the other.
I think a little bit of both. So I always say to people, personally, I wouldn't do MMA. I don't like being punched. My face is too pretty. I'm just ready. I'm too much of a cutie, but I always say, I don't know, people that does fight and I don't know, there's a screw missing. You guys are absolutely crazy. Wanting to get punched in the face, punching somebody else's head into the canvas. Some people say it's savage. I was speaking to a guy yesterday, and he was like, "Oh man, that's savagery." Da 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 da. What's your thoughts on that?
Don't get me wrong. It is. It's a tough sport. It's you have to be, all of the above. Fit and strong, etc., fast. All the things you have to be as a, I suppose, athlete. Even though I don't like that word for me, because I look at athletes and it's the likes of Olympians or gymnasts and all this. I'm not. I wouldn't. Even though you could do all the stats of me and all that. And don't get me wrong, I'm not great. I can't run the fastest.
Yeah.
I can't jump the highest. All these things that you would imagine as an athlete, as I said. But for me, I'm a fighter.
Yeah.
I don't class myself as an athlete. Even though you are or whatever. But your class is one. But for me, I'm a fighter. It's.
Yeah.
I never want to be an athlete.
Okay.
I always wanted to be a fighter.
Yeah.
So these things, but it's. I suppose people are called as savage. Don't get me wrong. People see the blood and all that, and they freak out and all that. But it's as I said, two lads go at it. It's the ultimate test. The ultimate test. Man v man. And who's the better willing than I? And a lot of times someone should have zigged and should have zagged, but and then after it, as you said, go for it with each other,
Yeah.
shake your hands, and it's the most respectful sport in the world because, reason being because, I don't know, you kind of share this kind of, I don't know, unknown, hard to explain respect for each other, but then, you know, you're going at it, you know, so it's a crazy sport, but that's another thing, it teaches you respect,
Yeah.
you know, in the you know, I can't come in onto the mat and the likes of, it learns you to respect your elders, the higher belt,
Yeah.
you know, you have to respect all these people, and then next later, a 16-year-old could come in and next later he's catching you, and that's the reality of this sport. It is, it's the reality of it, you know, so your ego is checked straight away, you know, so all these things you learn through martial arts.
Yeah. Okay. Nice. So before we get into like the fight, the most recent fight, I think I had two questions that I wanted to ask about when you were young. The second one was, I know you said you were getting into quite a lot of trouble back in the days. Like, what was the most trouble that you've got in? Is it with the police or with what would it be?
Nah, like it wasn't. Look, I wasn't getting into trouble. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, a few little things, you know.
Yeah.
It's Halloween now at this time of the year. Go collect for the bonfire and all that. You know, these things. You know, kid stuff. You know, like harmless. You know what I mean? Like, I see people now, like young lads, and it's different. Like, you know, like lads are going around in the Montclair jackets and, you know, the phones, and we were, you know, it's different. You know, I know it's only like 10 plus years ago, but it's mad. Like, it's just different. You know, but like for me, no, it was more like I was very unfocused. I was very, I suppose, again, I was trying to find who I was. I didn't know who I was. I was trying to be accepted by people, and I was getting into a lot of trouble in school. But you know, I ended up being expelled from school. Well, they gave me the ultimatum. You know, you're not coming back. We're not enrolling you. Don't come back. You know. So, and I was like, right. And that was a big wake-up call for me because, yeah, as I said, like, don't get me wrong, I used to love school. People like, love school, what do you mean? So I didn't do anything, you know, I was always not good at school, you know, like, my mum would tell me later on that, like, teachers are always asking me to stay back. I was slow to pick up on things, you know, and I wasn't good with, you know, things that subjects. But you know what's funny, and I actually never mentioned this, little bit of an exclusive here. I loved art growing up. Loved art. I would, like, my mum would tell, I remember drawing on the walls, you know, and every detail I'd be like real, like, you know, trying to get like real detailed drawings. I'd draw for hours, like, you know, and I used to love art. That was the only subject I loved. And here I am doing mixed martial arts. So, I don't know, maybe it's something like that. I'm expressing myself some way, or I don't know, I used to, like, literally, and I'm literally, as I said, since school, I'm gone away from all that, but I'm after replacing it now with this. And maybe that's it, like, you know, I loved art, like, you know, and that was the only subject. But as far as everyone else, you know, just a mess. I just love having the crack, taking the mick, you know, and just love messing with the lads, you know, just you know, bold stuff as well, you know. We won't get into it, but like, you know. But look, coming around, you know, that type of thing, I didn't know where I was going to go. You know, I didn't know what I wanted to do, and who wants to know what to do when they're 15 or whatever. But yeah, that was me anyway. And then I found the sport, and it was like, boom. Like, as I said in interviews before, the mother was pulling you out of the bed to go to school, and next thing I'm getting up in the mornings, going for runs, not a bother, going for runs, you know, focus on a fight. I'm getting into training, I'm focused on training to learn a new technique and getting home, I'm writing it down. And next later in school, I can't even concentrate on history or whatever, maths, and forget about it, you know. And then I found this that I can, you know, I suppose vent my energy into, you know.
Yeah, okay, that's sweet. And now we're gonna go on to your most recent fight. First of all, you know, how was the build-up for it? Because I think you had quite a long camp. I think you found out about the fight like weeks and weeks earlier than usual.
Yeah, so I found out actually mid-May. I mean, you did it weeks out. It's about 17, 18 weeks, which is half a year, really, you know. So I wanted one before that, you know. So, but it didn't work out. But yeah, like, I found out very long, and I actually had a holiday booked it was about 15 weeks out, 16 weeks out from the fight. And so, like, you know, as soon as you find out, like, you know, you have all these locked things, you're locked in, and then, you know, it's so hard, and then you're trying to, like, come back to Lauren, like, you know, she's looking forward to this holiday, as weeks off working and a week off working, and then, you know, I'm still over on holiday training, going for runs, you know what I mean? So it's hard to switch off, it's hard to, like, you know, when you find that far out. So, but I did learn a lot because I did go into the fight with a few injuries. I went, you know, I kind of went balls to the wall too early, too fast.
What did you learn quickly?
Yeah, that's what I learned. You know, not to, you know, all you need really, because I'm always training all the time, unless an injury or something. I'm always training twice a day most days, and I'm always, you know, so I just learned all you have to do really is just ramp it up eight weeks or so, and you're ready, you know. Because even I had some, like, I trained with Ciaran Clarke down in Ciaran Clarke Fitness here in town, and you know, even Keith Arnold, one of the coaches there, he was coming up to me, and Sean, he was like, you know, you're fairly doing well. You're doing all right. You look really good there. Yeah. Even between the rest rounds, I was shadowboxing. They were like, pull up back a week now, like, you know, because you're peaking. You might be peaking too early, and you know, so little things that I learned, you know.
Yeah, it's good. Every test or every like camp, you always learn one thing about yourself. You're always improving, and that's what it's all about. It's all about progression and being able to actually take that data and then implement it for the next camp. You know what I mean? So yeah, first of all, how was life being after the fight? You know, since you know, you had quite a lot of fans, a lot of people come down. How was life being since you won that fight? Because you've had a lot of, as I said, TV experience. A lot of, I've been seeing loads of interviews. Everyone wants a piece of you. Even I want a piece of you as well. So yeah, how's life been? Huh?
Yeah, no, it's good. It's so as I said, I had a few injuries going into the fight. So after that was just healing up, really just recover the body, and back training now 2 weeks now. Just had to take it slow getting into it, and back full swing now, which is great, and just recover really after it. And had a few, you know, TV interviews and stuff like that, like, which is great, like, you know. So brilliant, like, you know. And then obviously I you know, actually it's funny, like, we won't go into the details, but I had such, when I was getting all these, like, I'll put it this way, put it into perspective. I don't have to go into the details, but say the Monday after the fight, the week after the fight, personal things happened to me, people in my life very close to me happened, you know, and suppose hiccups and things like that, you know, even friends, family, very close family members and stuff, and these things happen, and the next minute all of these good things is happening. I'm on the telly, you know, things like that, you know, good things are happening to me, and then on the back end of it, I'm having a tough week, if that makes sense. So it was so hard to, like, enjoy it in the sense it was like these deadly things are happening for you, but then all around me these bad things were happening. I was like, you know, so look, we're on the back end of it now, please God, hopefully, but yeah, no, it's all good now, and thank God, as I said. But it just goes to show, it might be all rosy and all that, and, you know, I have to post and stuff, you know. I'm one of these fellas that, you know, I force myself to post. I'm not great with all that, because I understand the importance of it, because when you're not posting at your training, everyone's like, oh, you're back training, are you training? I'm like, obviously I'm training. I train full time. This is me life, man. You know, I'm posting training, but people are so, like, you know, if you're not posting, you're not, you know, you're not doing anything. And I understand the importance of it, and it's frustrating to me, because I know I have to do it, but then it's like, oh, like, I'd say people are sick of me putting up stuff, or, you know, I don't want to be constantly on the phone, or, you know, but and then again, going back to that, like, all these good things are happening, but the week that I was having after it was a tough week, you know what I mean? So it just goes to show, what you see online on Instagram, it's not always. I
always preach that. I preach that to all of my clients. That even I myself, you know, I'm not going to be posting some shit that's going on. Do you know what I mean? You want to post the reels. You want to post the highlights on what's going on. And I believe social media is one of the biggest things when it comes to mental health. You know, and a lot of people, men, guys especially, they compare themselves to other people. And they're comparing themselves to this false illusion of someone that, okay, this person's living a high life, this person's, you know, driving this type of car, but they don't really know the detail. They don't really know what is going on deep inside. So, as I said, one thing I always say, especially to the youth, you know, focus on yourself, focus on your, stay in your own lane, and try not to just, you know, compare yourself side by side to somebody else, because, as I always say, social media is only about posting what is good and what is good that's going on in your life.
Oh, 100%. And even just to, you know, I suppose go on about that, like, which is important, because a few things off that. Like, I didn't know nothing about my opponent, the last opponent, nothing. It was six days notice, fair play to them for jumping in, it was great, but like I didn't know anything. 10 seconds on YouTube, 20 seconds, highlights. Then I went on to his Instagram. And like, you know, he's blasting the pads and he looks great and it's all his highlights from his fights. And then I'm like, well, that's his highlights, you know. That's his good bits, you know what I mean? So I'm not going to really go off that. And then what you said there, when you're comparing yourself to other people, I know it's a bit off topic, but again, with social media, like, that's the biggest thing now. And we're all the same, waking up, check our phones, comparing your life. And, you know, I heard once, comparison is the thief of joy. And it's so true, you know. It's like, I can compare myself to you, look at the shape you're in, look at the size, you know, and then I'm like, you know, you could, you know, take things in my life, you know, so it's constant, I think that's a battle that people, they struggle with every day, you know. Me personally, to be honest, if I wasn't, you know, if I didn't have to, you know, look, you don't have to do anything in life, but for me, if I had a choice, and if social media and getting yourself out there wasn't a part of the job, you know, I wouldn't be on it, you know. I just feel, especially for young people and that, you know, comparing yourself, and again, all you see is their best bits. And Tyson Fury said before, like, you don't see me taking a shit on Instagram, you know what I mean? And it's so true, like, you know what I mean? Like,
unless you're Cardi B, you know, Cardi B, that woman's crazy. She
you know what I mean? Yeah,
crazy.
Fair use, you know what I mean? There you go. Like, it's so yeah, social media is a big thing, but you have to take the positives, you know. Like yourself, it's doing these things, you know. Your work is through it, you know what I mean? You are a positive thing to look at and say, look, well, he's doing X, Y, and Z here, and constant putting out content, how to get better, whether it be lifting, nutrition, you know, anything, you know, you're using it in a positive way, you know, but again, you could use it the opposite way, you know, so it's just been switched onto it, you know.
Okay, going back to the fight, I know it's like I keep going back and forth, go to the fight, go to the back to young age, back post fight. So going on to the fight, it was three rounds, wasn't it? You put them on 3 rounds. The first round, what didn't look pretty for you? I'm not gonna lie, I was there. I was like, I swear to God, I had my hand in my head and my heart was dropping. I was like, oh my God, fucking hell, Keith, please. What was going through your mind, you know?
So first minute or two, it was just, you know, it was, you know, the usual process, you know, throwing a few feints out and see what he's about, see, you know, what he's trying to, you know, what he's bringing to the table. Is he is he in the back foot, is he in the front foot, is he waiting for me to, you know? So and again, this is just all natural. It's not like, I'm not thinking about doing this or that. It's just natural, you know? And so he caught me through a right hand, caught in the glove on the left side, and I was like, right, he hits hard, I can feel it, you know. He's swinging like he's going for it. And then next later, bang, I was on the ground, and I was like, what? Hold on.
Did you feel it? Did you feel it? Or how was it? I've never been knocked out.
No.
What is it, like 1 minute you're fighting and the next minute you're on the ground? Or
that one was like that anyway. I've been hit many ways, trust me, knees, kicks, elbows, everything, you know, but that was like that, you know, and I was like, I'm on the ground here. And before I knew it, he was coming at me, and I was just, you know, just straight away, it's just stay composed, you know. And I felt comfortable. I wasn't like, you know, even watching the fight in my face, you know, I was comfortable, you know. I knew, right, hold on, just compose yourself here, and, you know, stay safe, and, you know, control emotions. It's 15 minutes, it's a long time. You know, people think, you know, if I get you to go on that spin bike for 30 seconds, it's going to feel like 2 hours. And go, you know, so like, it's a marathon, not a sprint either, you know. So I knew that about him, and I knew his first round is always, everybody's a good first round, you know. Especially someone coming in on short notice, they're gonna go for it, you know what I mean. So I knew that, and then I was like, right, just stay composed. I knew I took the first round. Second round, right, let's go. I can see him breathing a bit heavier, you know. I can see, and I'm feeling it, you know. And I said this before, when you're in a fight, you feel that energy, you feel it, you know. It's hard to explain. It's something when when you're in there, you feel.
I feel like that with people as well. I don't know.
You know when you walk into a gym, or you know, you're going up onto the stage, you know, and you feel the presence, you feel the confidence off. You feel the confidence off him, you feel the energy, you know what I mean? And I was starting to feel that, you know, he was dwindling, you know. And again, he came out hard in the second round, which, you know, he was tough. And just. I got through the fight, he kept throwing a knee. So then I just threw the jab as he threw the knee, and he fell over. And then I came on top and started to, you know, go through go through the motions on the ground. And then the third round in the corner, I looked over and I seen he was breathing heavy, and I was like, right, this is a mental win. It's not like I won, but it's a mental win. You know, I can see the chink in the armour. And then lo and behold, went in straight away.
And did you know that from the first minute of the third round, you know, I'm going to choke this guy out? Was that like the game plan?
I was confident, yeah, I was confident. I was like, because as I said, I closed the distance, hiked the leg up, kicked the leg out, and I was expecting him to fight harder, but he didn't, because I was already going to the next sequence, but he didn't, and I was like, right, that's a mental win here. He's accepting it, the takedown, and I was like, right, just go through the motions here, and just doing my thing, walking away, throwing me a few shots, and documentary coming out soon. We'll talk about that, I suppose, and you'll see in the documentary, in the training, most of the time, you know, I try anyway in training to get the back, get the choke, and you'll see that's how I train, you know. So I knew, right, it's just another day here. Get the back, choke, and thank God I got the win then, you know. So that's how that played out, yeah.
And what was the emotion behind that? I actually saw your brother as well when you won. He legged it on, man. Like, what was your emotion, you know, for that last fight after you won?
It's hard to explain because, you know, I'm getting up on the cage and I'm screaming, you know, that's not me. Like, it's even cringy watching it back, you know.
But that was sick. See the energy, when you know that you feel the goosebumps.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Like, it's crazy.
It's just emotion. It's emotion, you know. And again, as I said, you feel the emotion in the arena. You know what I mean? Or even I can feel when someone's down to me. Even does that make sense? I could go down there now and I could have a fight in 2 weeks and I can start chatting to someone. I can feel off them what they even think of me or what they think. Like, does that make sense? And I know, like, but I'm well tuned into things of that. Like, you know, I'm just, you know, and I felt the energy of the arena. Like you said, first round. You know. So I felt that energy, and I suppose it was just everything was, you know, everything just came out at once. You know what I mean? So, but I mean, you'll never compare it to any feeling in the world. I've never took drugs in my life, and nothing like that. And like, you know, I'm sure no drug in the world can compare to that feeling, because it's you can't buy it. You know, you can't. You have to earn it. You know what I mean? And you know, it's just happening for me now. You know.
Yeah, nice. Right, so I've got a list of questions here that I need to ask you.
Yeah.
Some of my clients or some followers and some of your fans actually messaged me a list of questions and said, right, can you ask Ciaran? So have you got the list there?
Yeah. So the first one is.
Okay, you're gonna ask him. Go on.
Sorry.
So the first one is, do you think you're brave?
Do I think I'm brave? Yeah, I think I'm brave. Yeah. You can't be brave unless, you know, there's some sort of fear, or, you know, to be scared or anything like that. Because if you don't feel that, then you're not brave. You know what I mean? So, or if there's no doubt or there's no, you know, if there's no adversity, you know what I mean? How can you be brave?
So was there a bit of fear going into your fight, or do you ever feel a little bit of fear going into your fights?
I don't know. I don't think it's maybe fear of losing or fear of things happening, but it's definitely there. Look, I'm not going to sit here and tell you, like, or anyone, I'll never say it because it's not true. And anyone that does tell you, you know, well, I want to learn from them, you know what I mean? But there's always doubt. Most of the time, by the way your brain thinks, it's natural. That's another thing. I've had 30 MMA fights, 24 amateur, 6 pro. Every time I've felt the exact same way. And I've just learned to accept the nerves, the doubt, all that self-talk and all that. But what gives me confidence is my preparation.
Yeah.
It's my preparation, you know what I mean? You, the likes of yourself, doing your competitions, you're putting, 2 to 4 months preparation into it, all the training and everything. Then next day you get on stage and it's like, oh, such and such, your result depends on a man judging you, or judges, and you're like, hold on, the doubt comes in, did they do this right, did they do that pose right, did they do this, should I have done that right? It's funny, the closer the fight gets for me, I'm in the dressing room warming up, I'm very confident. I'm like, this is it now, this is, you know, 15 minutes, go in here, I'll give you your all. Whereas, you know, others it's worse, it's like, oh, it's here now, you know, whereas for me it's like, this is what you've been training for, you know, so look, each people deal with it differently, but for me, yeah, it's learning to accept the self-doubt, all of those things, and to be honest, that fuels you in training, you know. Like, it'd be great if you were confident, because I've often heard lads, you know, amateur and stuff, or even some pros, like, I didn't take it serious, and I'm like, how are they that confident, you know what I mean? I'm like, that's what gets me up in the morning to, you know, go for the runs in the lash in the rain, or to, you know, go in and spar the toughest fella in the gym, and, you know, these are the things, it's the, I suppose in a way it's a self-doubt that pushes you on, you know what I mean? Because, but again, as I said, don't mistake it, I am very, very confident because of the training I put in, you know.
Okay, sweet.
Alright, so the next question, a bit more intimate. What makes you feel loved?
What makes you feel loved?
That's the hardest question I've got in a while. What makes me feel loved? Well, just going off with, you know, family and stuff, and my girlfriend Lauren, and it's the support, you know. It's behind the lines, people don't see like what the likes of Lauren does, or even the likes of my mother, and, you know, my brother, all my family. You know, I mean, I don't have to mention them all, and again, like, it's funny because like they be doing them things for me regardless of what I'm doing in my life. My brother's a plumber. He gets up at 5:30 in the morning every day. He goes to work, and they give him the same love to anyone, because that's how the world is run. You know, I'd like to think people would look at me the same way, which is not the case if I wasn't a fighter or doing well, or, you know, but it's just because you're in the spotlight as well, you know. I'm not going to look at a postman. Like, one of my mates is a delivery driver, and he's good at his job. And like, are people going to be, you know, loving him? No, because they think it's just because it's job. But it's only because I'm in the spotlight, people might, you know, be into it more, or maybe it's because I'm a fighter and it's something that's you know, tough. But for me, like, what's tough is like getting up in the morning. As I said, my brother up at 5:30 every morning. Tough winters coming up there now, doing his job, and as I said, my mother loves him the same as she loved me, you know. So what makes you feel loved? It's, you know, it's the support from around you, from what people do for you. And again, if they didn't do that, if they didn't do that, you know I love them, and they love me, you know what I mean? So it's
Okay, the next question is, what bad habit do you lie about?
What bad habit do you lie about the most?
Bad habit do I lie about the most? Bad habit. Bad habit. I don't know a bad habit, but
Could be anything. Could be training, life, anything.
Bad habit. I'm not sure. I suppose I love my food. I love my food, yeah. So I suppose I wouldn't lie about it though. But I'd say, we'll say about bad habits. I love food, you know. So I don't drink much and things like that. So like the biggest thing for me would be like, you know, the food. You know what I mean? I nearly have a unhealthy relationship with food, in the sense that it's because of the fighting, obviously, because same as yourself. You know for
diet so long.
You're like, you can't have this. And then when you can, you're like, I'm gonna have it. You know. And so it's like, I'm a type of person, I'm all in or all out. So don't give me one biscuit, because I'm eating the whole packet. You know what I mean? So. If I'm, you know, and even when I'm dieting and stuff for fights, and like, you know, you have to be strict, and like, I just have one, sure, it's only like 90 calories, and I'm like, well, if I have one, I'm having the whole packet, you know what I mean? So it's probably the same as yourself, as someone that's doing not to the extent that I'm doing it, you know, you're doing it even, you know, so regimental, and I have to make a weight. I know you do as well, but like, you have to, you know, your physique is your you know, is your judgment, you know what I mean? Whereas I can go out and you know, obviously you put the work into to be judged as best you can, but like, you know, it's different for me and you, but it's, I suppose we can relate in that sense. But definitely the food, you know. Again, I don't lie about it, but like, you know, the food for me would be a bad habit. I say that, things like that, you know what I mean? Look, I'm not eating breakfast rolls to go for a 10k run. Not that, like, you know what I mean? But it's no, put it that way. That I love my food like that, you know. So
Sweet.
Right, the next one is, what makes you feel most vulnerable?
What makes you feel most vulnerable? Talk to us.
Most vulnerable. These are tough questions, lads. I suppose I'll answer a reason why I got into MMA, and that's the best way I can do it. So I used to, you know, growing up, everyone, you know, there's always someone bigger and stronger. And, you know, growing up for me, it was like, why I got into fighting was, you know, when you're in that certain situation where you feel vulnerable, you feel helpless, or you feel, you know, you can't do anything about it. I hate that feeling growing up, whereas if someone, like, you know, came to take something from you, and you physically can't do anything because, you know, they're bigger or stronger, or, you know, X, Y, and Z, you can't do it or whatever. And I hate that feeling, you know. I was like, you know, I'm going to get you one way, you know. So it was like, I hated that feeling, you know. So that was the reason why I got into martial arts. It was like, well, it's not the ground, it's when that situation happens.
Yeah.
I can, you know, I can take control of it, you know.
Yeah.
Whereas I can walk into a room and, like, again, being the, you know, the toughest, the hardest man or the toughest man, that's all an illusion, because there's always going to be someone bigger and better, you know. But for me, it was just to have that confidence walking in the door. Right, look, if something kicks off here, or someone comes up to me and, you know, says, you know, growing up as a teenager, you know what I mean? Or, like, you might, exactly, you know what I mean? So, and, you know, when you're a kid, like, you know, it was, when I got to a teenager, that's when it, like, started with 13, 14, that's when I started to really, like, you know, I was like, right, you know, try me type thing, you know. But for me, when you was growing up as a kid, it was like, you know, when someone, or your older cousin or something takes something from you, they can't even do it, you know. I hate that helpless feeling, or that vulnerability. It was like, you know, I hated that feeling. That's why I was like, right, that was what mattered to me the most growing up, if that makes sense. So that's why it consumed me. It was like, well, if I can't, or if someone starts, you know, I don't know, when you're texting your girlfriend, or, you know, I know they're such stupid things, but it's things that we all experience growing up and stuff, and you're like, well, you want to be confident to be able to do something like that, or not let someone walk all over you or bully you, you know, the boy. So that was what made me feel vulnerable growing up, if someone was to come take something from me, or to bully you or anything like that. So that's why, and still to this day, it's something that I feel very strong about. And that's why I think every young lad, or everyone, should do martial arts, you know, to know the capability of it, and second of all, to be able to defend themselves, you know. Because if you know the capability of it, I'll be the last person to have a fight in here, you know what I mean? If someone comes in that door and I'll be like, yeah, hold on, pal, but if he, you know, if he tries me, then that's different, you know. Of course, I'm going to defend myself, but because I know the dangers of it, you know. If I hit somebody, fall the wrong way, whatever else, but, and then as well, to be able to defend yourself in situations you can't, you know what I mean? So, going off on one there, but I suppose that'd be my answer, you know.
Sweet. So we'll do 2 more questions. Yeah? Sweet.
So the next one is, in 3 words, what annoys you the most about people?
So in 3 words, what annoys you the most about people?
3 words.
Really getting them harder.
Big time.
These are hard questions.
Maybe limited to 3 words.
3 words.
Can you describe them in 3 words? Maybe you might need a paragraph,
Lately, it's perception.
Say that again?
Perception.
Perception? Okay.
Perception. That's the biggest one lately. Another one would be, I don't know. I suppose, what would it be? What would that word be? Patronising.
Okay.
And I suppose cold.
Cool.
Maybe the 3 words that annoy me most with people.
And elaborate on those points, like, you know, when.
Summarising perception. Lately, why I mean that is because people's perception of me has changed since they think they know me. Most 99% of people don't know me. So they have a perception of me in their mind, and I can't even imagine what, like, the likes of, like, Conor McGregor feels, or, you know, I'm just getting on the small, like, the 0.1% of one, I'm getting it to that level. But, like, people have a perception of me and they think they know me. Or they think,
and what's the perception? Do you know?
No, they just think I'm, I don't know, people probably think I'm a monk, or, you know, or I don't know. I don't know, like, they have this kind of perception of me that I'm, like, you know, I don't know how to explain it. It's just their perception of me has changed, you know. They think they know me, or, you know, or they don't know half a thing about me, you know. They don't even know if I'd have 2 sugars in my tea or not. By the way, I don't ruin the tea. But, you know, so, again, people think they know me, but they don't, you know. And I think that's something I actually, struggle with. It's even still, like, opening up to people, because then it's like, oh, you like that, or I didn't know that about you, and it's like, no way, and then they start thinking that they did know me, and then I don't know if they're going to start changing their opinion of me, or, and things like that. So perception is a big one, and patronising. I hate people that be, patronising and, real, oh, well, I'm not saying this, or no offence, but this and that, and, and then another thing, like, people kind of take advantage of. I feel people kind of take advantage of that with me, as well. Like, they kind of take advantage of, like, knowing that there's no consequences, because sometimes we're all the same. We'd love to, tell people what we think of them, or and a lot of time people take advantage of that with me, as well. I think they put you in certain positions that you can't, I suppose, give it back. And then coldness would be like, someone that's very cold, just no, very, if it's not me, then why should it be you? Just really cold at people, things like that. But I suppose they're just things I've experienced lately,
Yeah. Sweet. So one more question.
Why is MMA training so tough?
Why is MMA training so tough?
Well, it's a tough sport. It's, it has to be tough, And another thing as well, like, people think, you have to be, like, 8 hours a day, it's just, whatever people think, it's constant, again, perception. But, at the end of the day, we have to make it there on the night, uninjured, at least trying to feel 100%. And so you have to, like, you have to be smart with your training, I know there's other people out there training harder, or we could all go balls to the wall and train so hard and just till the wheels fall off, but I'll never make it there on the night, or I won't get better, so it has to be tough, but the right toughness, and most of the time for me, I always just train, really hard, and it's very hard to, like, pull back, because it's like, you're getting into fighting another man, you know what I mean, and again, the self-doubt and all this, it's going through your head, and the nerves, and you want to overcome all that, so it's very, very hard to, but MMA training has to be tough, because it's such a tough sport. And again, to be honest, for me, what I find tough, or what I would think was tough, is up at 5:30 every morning doing something you don't love, or you get me for pittance, you know what I mean? And don't get me wrong, I've done this sport for long enough, and still, it's not, tomorrow could lose me next fight, and it's all out, not that, but it's, you're as good as your last fight, but I love it, so it's not it's tough, but, and that's another thing I always say, is like, I always try and train as hard that I always think, oh, do you know what, I'd rather be on the building site this morning, eating a breakfast roll and, in the miserable rain than doing this, because this is hell, you know what I mean? But then again, I love it, so it's hard to compare, and that's why I try and make it as hard, when I'm doing them sprint sessions, I'm doing that miserable training, or, put myself in a vulnerable situation where you could be embarrassed, or, someone could get the better of you, or challenge your ego, or things like that, like, so, there's probably other things that would be more enjoyable or more secure financially as well. But again, as I said, I love it, and that's why it's tough. But the rewards, and
one thing I always say: choose your tough, choose your hard.
Love it.
Everything's gonna be fucking hard. You know what I mean? Like, people say, being in a marriage is hard. Well, getting divorced is also hard as well. Do you know what I mean? So you have to just choose your hard, and choose the hard that works best for you. That's how I see it.
And I love that. Choose your tough. And it's choose your battles. And like, we all have to carry our own cross. And my cross might be heavier for you, and yours might be heavier for me. Maybe not for you, because you're big. But definitely.
Sweet. So lastly, now, is there anything, I've been asking all the questions, is there anything that you would like to ask me in terms of anything? Personal, relationships, health, life. Anything. Is there anything you would like to ask me? We've been asking some pretty deep questions today.
Where'd you get your arms? No, I'm joking now. I suppose it's probably a question everybody asks, but tell me what you think. I've seen you put up recently, I've trained 10 plus years, and I'm sure you've been through the same emotions as I did, self-doubt, and again, we all still do, and you're still not done where you want to be, and I'm still not done where I want to be. I feel I'm only getting started, and I'm sure you're the same, but what is the most important thing on any journey, whether it be a fitness journey for you, just let's just say that, because that's what you are doing, and what is the most important thing, and why do you think people fail,
That's a very good one. So, what is the most important thing? What in my life, or
on any journey, whether it be the journey I'm on, to be, to do as best I can in MMA, or in your journey, whereas to be, look at, the shape you're getting over the last 10 plus years. It wasn't, as you said, I seen the photo you put on your Instagram. If anyone didn't see it, you went naturally. I'm sure. Look, I'll never be as big as you, or because genetics and stature and everything else. But but for yourself, you weren't always in this shape. You know what I mean? So what has gotten you here, and what was the most important part to get you to there? And then as well, on top of that, why do you think people fail at when they're in their own journey, whether to be lose weight, get into decent shape, or anything?
Okay, so the answer to that is most important is just finding your why. Why are you doing this? Why are you getting up in the morning? Why are you killing yourself in the gym? Why are you doing this specific thing? And I always say to everybody, find out your why, because then you'll wake up with a purpose every single morning. Now I know I wake up to achieve a specific thing on that day, which falls in line with my overall goal. My goal, is, this is a personal goal. I never really said this to anyone, but my goal is to have an impact in 1 million people's lives. A positive impact, and I believe I'm well on that way. And I do that through, of course, the way I speak to people, through my training, through my meal prep, through my online coaching. So now when I wake up every day, I'm like, okay, whose life can I have an impact in? So I believe that is my why. That's why God put me on this earth as well, and I'm able to identify that quite early. And I feel like I'm well on my way on my journey. I don't feel lost. I feel structured every single day because I know exactly what I'm doing this for. Yeah. And to answer your other question is, why do you feel people fail? Is because they give up. I believe you can never truly fail if you don't stop. If that makes sense. Yes, you will have setbacks. Yeah, and I've learned that in life. Yeah, in life, things are always gonna happen. Yeah, in life, you're always gonna fall down. But how do you learn from that? Things are never gonna go smoothly. I've had the best mentors. I've had the best support in the world. But still, things will go wrong along the way. But one thing I've learned about those things going wrong is they're never really losses. As of course, when you accept it. But every time that I've had a major setback in my life, it was weird. It's actually so fucking weird. Like any big setback, I'm like, oh my God, fucking hell. How did this happen? How am I able to cope? I'm able to pick up some things in that setback, but then something happens later on that what I've actually learned from that setback, I'm actually able to implement it in that thing. So I'm like, fucking hell, this is actually a lesson. I was actually able to pick something from this that was able to make me a stronger person, a wiser person, and be able to deal with certain situations a lot better. So one thing I always say is, you're never really defeated unless you give up. Yeah. When a setback happens, it's never really a setback, it's a setup for something big that's gonna happen in your life. Okay. So that is my answer to those questions.
I actually heard Marcus Aurelius. He was a great philosopher. Yeah. He was the head, Stoic, and he was the head of the Roman army. I think it was the most successful time of them. Yeah. But he said, the mentally strong people, they find the good in the bad situations, and if you read his book, if you hear about his life, everything was falling down around him, and he was able to find the good in it. Yeah. And just like you said, every setback, I love that it's a setup, for a good thing to happen, and it's brilliant. Yeah.
Right. That is it today, my man. It was great chatting to you. It's always a pleasure.
Thanks, man.
And so till the next time, and thank you so much for jumping on board.
Thanks, man.
And all the best, my bro.
Thanks for the support, for the lead prep as well. It's brilliant.
Anytime, man. All right.